So, have you ever been to an IEP meeting and you're like trying to find that one document, and it's like you have no idea where it is in this like stack of papers that you brought with you to the meeting? Well, you are in the right place because we are going to be talking about a simple system that you can use. I promise it's simple to organize all of your child's school records, right? We know how important it is to keep track of IEPs and evaluations and emails and all kinds of things. But how do we keep track of it? Today we'll be learning that system. So let me show you. Um, if you, let's see, we'll do it this way. So we are going to be talking about how to be more confident when you're at IEP meetings by being organized. It's like, ooh, what a concept, right? But if we have these stacks of papers, we are going to probably be feeling pretty frustrated, maybe, just like downright tired of trying to keep track of everything, right? However, if we have a organized system, then the confidence level boosts dramatically when you are sitting at that IEP meeting and you need to get your hands on that one important document. And you can easily find it and impress everybody at the meeting. This is what we're going to be talking about today. And it's not just like, oh, yeah, that's old hat. I know about, putting school records and IEP binders. But this is going to be a different system, a system that is recommended by special education attorneys like Pete Wright, and many other attorneys recommend this more chronological way of organizing records instead of those IEP binder systems you might have bought, where it taught you to do it by categories like evaluations, IEPs, things like that, which we will learn why that isn't such a good way to do it. And instead, why we might want to use this system that, if it's good enough for special ed attorneys, it's probably good enough for us as parents and advocates to use too, right? So I am glad you are here. I am Charmaine Tanner. If you are new to our YouTube show, I am a parent of a son with disabilities. He received inclusive supports throughout his schooling. I'm a retired special education teacher and a retired general ed teacher. And now I do full-time advocacy for families with school-aged children with disabilities, so you can make sure that your child is safe, happy, learning, and welcomed every day in that school building and in his general ed classroom. So I'm excited because this organization, I love being organized, but the truth is, my house does not look like those images on Pinterest about how to organize everything. But if we can take one area this summer to work on, it could be organizing your child's records. And I am truthful to say that it is a simple system and you can do it even if you don't want to. So let's look back here and we shall see. I think you might be doing step 1 in this process. My guess is you're not doing steps 2 through 9, and I would bet that you're not doing step 10. Well, you might be saying, Charmaine, ain't nobody got time for this. But you do. You can do it. You can break it up, chunk it out, and do it. Because once you are organized, you can find what you need when you need it. You find what records you might be missing, which is important to know. And you get peace of mind. Yes, this will be a Zen experience for you as you organize year by year your child's school records. Well, you can give us an emoji or some way, show it in the comments how organized you feel about your current level of organization for your child's records. These are the supplies you're going to need. That stack of records, documents, copies of emails. You're going to need some notebooks, either, one very large notebook, like 4 to 6 inches, a couple smaller notebooks. But we're going to be organizing them chronologically, which is a different system. So stay tuned. You need a pencil, a 3-hole punch, some monthly binder or dividers with, the months on them. And then also some type of tab or flag, a sticky note that you can use, a permanent pen, and the most important thing, that table of contents. So if you would like information and more resources, let me show you what you can do. Because I'll be sending out, I didn't have that in there. Let me type it. I'll be sending out once and for all. And I'm going to show it. So if you would like a template for the table of contents and other resources about getting school records organized, let me know by saying once and for all in the comments, and I will make sure that we get those to you. So the supplies are pretty basic, pretty simple. And then what is our first step? Well, the first step is to gather those records, right? And I would suggest going back 2 years, maybe 3 years. Don't worry about all the boxes of things that you have if you have an older child. And instead, I don't know why I lost my PowerPoint. Let me bring it back. Come back. There it is. So, if in the future it might seem like there might be a chance that you would file for due process or file a state complaint. Going back 1 year for state complaints, going back 2 years for due process. So that's a good amount of time that you want to start, so it's not so overwhelming. And, depending on if you want to add another year in there, you could go back 3 years. But for now, I would just concentrate on the, past couple of years, right? Because we want to make it like achievable and not too overwhelming. So gather up the records. If you have emails, right? How many emails? I'm sure you have a lot. Print out copies of emails and add that to your pile of IEPs, evaluations, progress notes, work samples, all of that good documentation about your child, and put all of that in one big pile. Then step 2 is to make sure that you keep original copies clean. So we're going to use a pencil to write a date of the document in the top corner. And we're going to use a pencil because when we're all done organizing these documents, you can go back and erase it. So you're not having any permanent marks on the originals. So the second step is just to go through that large pile, write a date for the document in the top right corner because that will help you organize it faster. Do not stop to read all those documents and all those emails because otherwise it will take you forever. But just get the date on the top corner for each document. And then what you're going to do is organize your piles by years. So go through that pile, all the 2017s you put in one pile, all the things from 2018, another pile, 2019, another pile. And then divide each of your piles into monthly stacks. So you're going to have a January 2017, a stack of documents and emails from February 2017. So you're going to have 12 of these all the way down to December 2017. So that's step four. Step 5 is to punch holes in your documents. And you can either punch holes, or if you want, you can put your documents in those plastic sleeves and use that inside your notebook. Step 6 is to start putting the documents in the notebook. And you want to have the first page in your notebook, the oldest document that you have. So if you have something from the beginning of January 2017, that's going to be your first page in your notebook. So it's important that we do this chronologically. Step 7 is to continue putting all your records, emails, work samples, things like that in chronological order. So if you're starting at January 2017, that's going to be your first page. The last page in your notebook is going to be something from May 2019. The reason why you want to go in this chronological order is you want your this notebook to tell a story about where your child comes. So 2017, because we're only going back a couple years, this is what school was like. This is what his IEP was. This is what the progress notes said. And then you turn and it's like, oh, okay. And then I see at the end of 2017, this is what we talked about for ESY. And then it's like, okay, now it's the summer, now it's the fall. So your notebook is chronological, so it will tell this story. The other reason why you want to have your records in this type of chronological order, going from oldest at the front of the notebook to newest at the back of the notebook, is then it's real easy. Whenever you get a new record, whenever you print out a new email, you can just put it in the back of your notebook and you just keep going. And that's a way that you can make sure that this system lives on and that you keep your notebooks up to date. And we're going to talk about step 10. You want to make sure you pay attention to, because step 10 is what's going to be the secret sauce of making sure this system is really helpful. So let's look back here. And step 8 is to put monthly dividers in your notebook. So, you would have monthly dividers for 2017, you'd have monthly dividers for 2018, you'd have monthly dividers for 2019. So we're starting to kind of get this down to a smaller level as far as organization. Step 9 is using some type of a sticky tab that you can put on the first page of each document. Later, you're going to be numbering it with a permanent marker, but not yet. So you're just going to go through your documents and you're going to, and I have like a couple here, you're just going to put these sticky tabs. So on the first page, where is it? There, you have a tab. The second document, the first page of that, you put a tab on. The thing that you want to remember is don't put the numbers on here yet, because it always seems like you find something later that you have to add in there. So just put the sticky tabs on right now. And then this is the exciting part. Step 10 is what makes the system completely different from other things that you may have heard when you hear the words IEP binder. is the table of contents. This is that secret sauce. This is the thing that pulls everything together. So please make sure you have a table of contents for your notebook. So here it has a column for the date of the document, either the title of the document or a short description. The page number, you're not going to worry about right yet, right? And then notes, like if you need, some kind of reminder, like this is when we amended the IEP with the behavior plan, some kind of notes that will kind of trigger your memory of like, oh yeah, that's what this is about. This table of contents is like so wonderful to have. I'll show you a notebook here. Oops, shoot. I think I took it away. Darn. But inside the binder, when you have that table of contents, then you can easily find what you're looking for. So once you have all your documents in there chronologically, you've typed up a table of contents, but you haven't put the page numbers on yet. That's when you'll go back with the permanent marker and start writing the page number. So if it's a document, that's stapled together, just the first number or the first page gets a number. So that would be page 1. Just write a number 1. Then the next document that has that tab on it, write document 2. Once you've done that, then I suggest that you take a couple of days off as a break, because chances are you might think of like, oh, shoot, I didn't print out that email to put in there. Or, oh, yeah, I've got this work sample I want to add. So give yourself a few days to see if there's anything else that you need to add in there. And then go back and number your tabs and type that number in your table of contents. And then when you're at a meeting, when you're talking to an advocate or an attorney, when you want to find something quickly, that table of contents is like so worth it. It's like, this is like what changes. So I think not only is this system beneficial because you have that chronological story. That's usually how attorneys want to receive records, is chronologically. So you've already done that. And then the other thing is a table of contents. So you can really look and go specifically to that page, versus if you have what a lot of other people suggest with the categories like IEPs and evaluations and progress reports and work samples. You still can't find like that IEP from that certain year, because you've got a whole section of IEPs, right? So by having this table of contents and having things numbered, it's like so wonderful. You feel so organized. You're going to be more organized than anybody sitting at that table. And you are going to be a more confident advocate for your kids. So I'm excited. Use sometime this summer to mandate to yourself that you're going to carve out some time to organize. And like I said, just start with the last 2 or 3 years. Don't worry about all the other boxes that you have. Let them stay for now. So I appreciate you being with us here on YouTube. I am Charmaine Tanner. I host a weekly show. And if you want the entire show, you can go over to my Facebook page, Visions and Voices Together. And I'll also put the link down below in the description. And you can even see a little bit more inside information about using a chronological system to organize your child's records. So until next week, take care, and we shall see you again.